Hi everyone, Drini here, and welcome to my channel. So as Bitcoin continues to go down this broadening descending channel, it is going to make a decision soon because as you can see, price is currently coiling up. This is once again a public service announcement that all of your altcoins are pretty much in accumulation mode. So if you believe in a particular project, just DCA accordingly. But specifically for this video, I do want to talk about Splinterlands and SPS. Out of all the gaming cryptos that we track so far, Splinterlands is not only the most sensitive, it is the most sensitive to the downside, meaning every time Bitcoin coughs, you can see SPS price plummet and it doesn't recover from there compared to other cryptos. And if you're part of the Splinterlands Discord community, you can start to see all of these discussions that unfortunately don't really go anywhere because there's a lot of misconceptions about trading and investing that are floating in the market that unfortunately are not the reason why SPS price is low. Let's clarify those misconceptions first before we dive into the topic that we want to talk about. So most arguments online boil down to two major things. The first major misconception is people equate a price downtrend with there's something wrong with the game. Whether it's because of bots, it's because of the game devs, it's because it only caters to the rich, etc., etc. And while of course I'm not saying that these are without merit, there are a lot of crypto games out there that have the exact same situation, but their price action is not as sensitive to the downside as SPS. So you can already take that out of the picture. The second major reason that a lot of people may say is SPS lacks utility. But if utility was the main reason why SPS keeps going down, then what is the utility of Illuvium? And why has it gone up from the low of 45 and now all the way to $1,000? So it's not a question of utility either. So instead, you have to look at the systems that govern SPS and Splinterlands as a whole and try to see what behaviors they incentivize so that we can path a way forward. So the first thing that we need to note is how do you get SPS? So you get SPS in three ways. You either buy it from the market, it is airdropped to you if you own the NFT assets, and if you stake SPS on the Splinterlands website, then you get the APY accordingly depending on the number of SPS staked. So the staking is pretty normal, other cryptos do that. Buying it from the market is of course pretty normal, everybody does that, but it's the airdrops that really incentivize a certain type of behavior. The airdrops have a pretty clear objective. The SPS airdrops reward NFT holders for believing in the game and holding their assets. The SPS airdrops are also part of Splinterlands' decentralization plan because you don't want Splinterlands to mimic Eternal, which only had a 5 million circulating supply and then eventually got eaten up by whales. From a broad objective standpoint, the SPS mechanisms are a good thing because you are rewarding loyalty and you are rewarding asset holding. Now, while the systems and the objectives are good and sound, the problem with it is it incentivizes behaviors that lead to SPS price going down. What do I mean by that? One is because it's an open and transparent system, so everybody knows what's going on. So right now, what you're experiencing is you have a prisoner's dilemma situation where a lot of people know that SPS is given for free, quote unquote, to asset holders. So one, it incentivizes card ownership, of course, which is what Splinterlands wants in the first place. But the other is because SPS is free, anytime there's a market dump, to recoup your losses, it is easier to just sell it and put your money elsewhere. So you either make it liquid for now to wait for the dips of other tokens and then reinvest it accordingly, or you might as well just sell it in the market and then buy back cards because once again, SPS ownership is not incentivized. Rather, it is the NFT, it is the card ownership that is mostly incentivized. So any new SPS that you may have, it is more prudent or it is better to just sell it in the market and use the money to do whatever you want with it instead of just pouring it back into the game. Because of the free nature of the airdrops, because of the high APY that exists, SPS is quote-unquote taken for granted, so to speak. And with it, you have game theory elements because what's happening is you have a cascade of these behaviors where there's not much value in SPS because it's given for free, so it is easier to sell in the market. And if everybody does that behavior, then it's pretty much a race to the bottom because what happens is you need to get ahead of the guy that will be selling tomorrow. Because if you sell now, you may get it at a higher price as compared to the dude who will sell it tomorrow and he will have a slightly lower price. So he's not getting the bang for his investment buck. And that is pretty much the reason why SPS price action is down. It is not a game issue. It is not a utility issue. It is a supply issue. When something is given for free, everybody takes it for granted. It has no value when it's traded in the marketplace. So now that you know the whole ecosystem and why this is happening, then it's much easier to plan accordingly. Instead of grumbling and complaining, then you can put it as part of your action plan. What do you do now? Because there are a couple of ways. One is if you know that card ownership is incentivized and SPS is freely given to card owners, then of course, the focus of your investment should be in the cards. Or another thing is if you know that SPS will continue to go down because of the efforts to decentralize the token, then set your expectations accordingly. SPS is in a very long accumulation phase that will probably end when the airdrops end. So if you really believe in the token, then of course, this is a very good accumulation opportunity. But from a price action perspective, because of all of the systems and elements at play, then temper your expectations. Do not expect SPS to suddenly go to $100,000 by Q1 of next year. Because as long as these systems are in play, and they do have good objectives behind them, then plan accordingly. This is a much more actionable way of treating Splinterlands as an investment instead of just complaining in Discord groups. If you like that video, hit like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. Also, let me know what you think in the comments. If you also have other gaming cryptos that you would like me to look at, just leave it down in the comments below and I'll take a look at it in the future. Until then, take care everyone. Bye-bye.